Good evening everyone and welcome along to Fantari Racing League. We of course are here for F1 2021 action. It is F1 Season 14, round number 6 of the championship as we take on the Hungarian Grand Prix from Magnel Nadadec, otherwise known as the Hungaroring. My name is James Hay, going to be talking through the stream as always on a Tuesday night. Oliver sadly not alongside me in the commentary box tonight due to illness. We wish him well though in obviously recovering. I think he's got the cold at the minute, which is terrible, so hopefully his cold will get better and he'll be back alongside me next week. However, as it's a long-winded introduction, I may as well cut it out. It is a brand new commentator in the commentary box alongside me tonight. It is FRL Jesse. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm good. Good evening first.
Good evening to you too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Excited for the action because I know you've been in the comment section in the last couple of weeks here on Twitch. Excited for the action tonight, actually physically getting to commentate on F1?
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be a good one as always, so.
It should be really good, yeah, definitely so. Obviously, as a result of last week in Austria, we had both sprint qualifying and indeed the feature race. Of course, Montana actually took first position in terms of the actual points last week, so he is on 66 points. I'll come onto the point standings in a second, but he actually finished first in the sprint race, and then Tom won the feature race as a result. Second place in the sprint race. It's difficult to look at because of these standings. Tom's in second in the sprint race. He obviously won the feature race, and then third in the sprint race were both Ruti, and Ruti was both third in the sprint and feature races. So that was a rundown of the top three from last week. In terms of the top three in the championship, Ruti leads the way on 70 points, 2 points clear of Jensen, who in turn is on 68 points, who is in turn 2 points clear of Montana, who is in third. Given that he's only done 3 races, I'm not surprised he's in third, to be honest. 66 points to his name. Lou in fourth on 56. Tom in fifth on 48. Then we've got Yona in sixth on 47. Baraka in seventh on 45. Kazisel in eighth on 26. He is back tonight along with Baraka. Ryan in ninth as well on 26 points. And MedTC in 10th on 20 points. And Jesse, obviously looking at those driver standings, Ruti, Jensen, Montana, we were having a discussion before the stream. 4 points separating the top 3 coming into tonight. How do you think it'll all play out?
There are gonna be much DRS trains, so it will be hard to overtake. But I hope they can battle with each other.
Yeah, hopefully they will be able to battle with I can't even get my words out. With each other, indeed. Obviously, there's only the 2 DRS zones around this track, down the start-finish straight, one down towards turn 2. But as I said to you before the stream came live, I've seen overtakes around the outside of turn number 4 and 5 before. So maybe with the quality of drivers that we've got here tonight, we might just see that once again here in FRL. I've just got off the standings, by the way. I was going to run through the constructors. Bear with me. I'm going to load the standings up once again. James not being professional as ever here on F1. Haas leading the way on 102 points, and then in second Alpine on 76, McLaren in third on 71, Mercedes in fourth on 68, Alfa Romeo in fifth on 52, Williams in sixth on 49, AlphaTauri in seventh on 47, Aston Martin in eighth on 35, Ferrari in ninth on 25, and Red Bull in 10th on 24 points. And Jesse, obviously looking at last week, not many constructors picked up really good points. Alfa Romeo and Mercedes were the top 2 constructors last week, but Haas still leading the way in the championship, obviously with really good drivers. Barak and Lou here tonight, of course, representing Haas. They seem to have the constructors standings at the minute sort of wrapped up because of the consistency of both their drivers.
Yeah, Haas, they are really good teammates. They can play good teamwork with each other. So maybe they can challenge. Yeah, they are challenging now for the constructors title. But maybe they can win it. We don't know.
Yeah, looking through, I think it's 36 points, if I'm not mistaken, between Haas and Alpine. And obviously, with the point system that we've got on here, it's less than a race win's advantage. Of course, race win for first and second is 25 and 18, obviously, in the F1 point system. So it's 43 points. Alpine are near enough out of range, to be honest, in terms of that. So Haas obviously leading the way. Alpine there in second, McLaren in third, Mercedes there in fourth, as we already alluded to. I think the drivers are now beginning to ready up, though. might actually be good to get on going on time here for once tonight in FRL F1, which would be really good indeed. Davidenko, I will come to your friend request very soon indeed. He has joined the session, if I'm not mistaken. I'll scroll down. I'm sure he has joined the session. He hasn't actually. Oh no, he has. There, I can see Davidenko's name. He has, so he's just sent me a friend request, and I'll respond to that, of course, after the end of tonight's race. Here at the Hungaroring, though, in Magdalena-Nadec, in the region of Hungary, 4.3 kilometres and then 2.7 mile. Of course, 2021, Esteban Ocon took the win in the Alpine. Before that, of course, was Lewis Hamilton, 3 on the bounce from 2018 to 2020. As we've already alluded to as well, the 2 DRS zones, 1 down the start-finish straight and 1 down and towards turn 2. And Jesse, for me, this is the track that I personally do not like to commentate on. I'll just say that now. There's too many DRS trains, and there's too many limited opportunities at overtaking, but still, we should see some of that tonight.
Well, maybe if there's some rain, it's gonna be fun. But I don't like either to commentate on it. But yeah, I hope the drivers will make it a good race. And I don't even like to drive on it.
No, it isn't. I think, honestly, it's one of the worst tracks on the F1 game, and I think they need to get rid of it, possibly, for the next F1 game, and maybe not even come here in real life either. But Hungary, obviously, is one of those tracks that does challenge the drivers. We will be getting the session going very soon indeed. I'm not sure if you've just got the session will start in 0 glitch at the top end of the stream. Oh, there we go. There the graphics appear on the left-hand side. It looks like we're getting going into qualifying. There's beautiful blue skies and sunshine, as you can tell by the conditions. We should be getting drivers out on track very soon indeed. Montana, by the way, in the comment section saying, keep me up to date on Stratton ERS state from drivers during the race, please, James. He'll be listening carefully. We don't want to show bias in the commentary box, but we might have to do that just because he said that in the comment section. But we should be getting our first drivers out on track, I think. Normally Jensen is one of the first guys out on track. Jonas normally up there as well, being the first man out on track. But obviously, 18 drivers here tonight, Jesse. How do you see qualifying actually going, and who on earth for you is your top 3?
I think Rekka can take pole. I practiced a little bit with him and he looks quick. Jensen P2. And Montana P3.
Interesting, not even putting Montana on the top step of the podium. That should be really interesting to see, of course, how that actually goes out. Speaking of Jensen and Montana, they're both first out on track. And obviously Montana in the Ferrari tonight. He hasn't got that full-time seat just yet here in FRL. But Jensen, though, interestingly on a set of medium compounded tyres. Now, I always think of the set of mediums being a bit of a sighter lap, being a bit of an insight lap, basically, for the drivers out on track. Mediums probably 0.8 of a second slower around this track, and I'm not surprised, honestly, if we see a majority of drivers going a set of mediums early on.
Rekka also out now on mediums, so. And I see something interesting in the chat. Montana says it will rain at the end.
Oh no! Oh no!
So.
We don't want that. We don't want rain around here. It's absolute treacherous. And obviously, if you saw real life, last year obviously, we had the Skittle incident down in towards turn number 1. Hopefully we're not going to be getting that on the same limit again. But if he says run at the end, it'll probably be, I think, around 10 laps from the end of the race. So I would say about lap 25, 26-ish, I think, in terms of the actual rain coming out on track. We'll have to see how that obviously plays out for these drivers. Jensen, that was the first man out on track. He's down the first man starting up on a lap, and we'll run on board with the Brit on the run down and towards turn number 1, of course. Not the championship leader coming in tonight, second in the championship, as he now flies out of turn number 1 and on the run down in towards turn number 2, because Zizzle has left the session. Hopefully he's got another invite to rejoin. Not great for his connection early on, but Jensen now coming through turn 2, then through the right-hander of turn number 3 and towards the end of the first sector, up the hill in towards turn number 4, and at a 27 flat through the first sector, should be seen around mid-26s, I think, through there, as the quicker drivers will obviously go through there on a set of soft compounded tyres. Jensen, though, coming through turn 5, and then in toward the chicane of 6 and 7, and this is really the tricky point on the track. You don't want to invalidate your lap around here, otherwise you're pretty much screwed for the rest of your runs. Jensen coming through turn number 9, the left-hander of turn number 10, and then through the right-hander of turn number 11. I'm literally following the track map perfectly, as Jensen got too wide coming out of turn 11, and he's backed off his lap, and I think the next man on lap is Bunty.
It is Bunty. He also got a little bit wide, but didn't have an invalid.
Yeah, 53.5 through the middle sector's not looking too bad. The Aston Martin coming out the final corner. We should see a 115 to start off. Yeah, 115.2. Montana's behind him actually out on track. He's actually backed off his lap, has Montana. But Bunty there out on top, currently the only man. As I say that, Physical has gone 9/10 behind him, and Jensen actually doesn't set a valid lap time in there. But Lou, who you've engineered, of course, in the past here in FRL F1, in second, 115.6, and, as we were speaking before the stream, he has joined a new team.
Latam Formula Racing, only 3/10 of Bunty, but now Jonah comes in with the first 114. So interesting to see.
Yeah, really interesting to see. Lou obviously joining that team there, LFR. Best known for me for LFR, as I was saying to you just before the stream started, is they compete in EML League 1, of course, on a Wednesday night every single month. So, Lou joining that team, normally Brazilian team, they are seeking more international drivers, and obviously with Lou being Dutch, he is one of them that fits the bill, and I think it's a really good team actually to sign for. So if anybody is tuning in from LFR, good evening and welcome along to Fantasy Racing, and Lou obviously there in fifth. As MedTC, our F1 esports exhibition driver, of course, goes second, 14.7, behind Jona, but I've seen Jona go much, much quicker around here in Hungary. I've seen him do a 13.9, so I think we should see a 13 tonight from him.
Ryan also in P3, with Bunty behind him. Aston Martin, of course, 2 rookies in F1.
Yeah, 2 rookies in F1 indeed. The Aston Martins as well, 3rd and 4th. 14.8 there for Ryan. And he's, what, 4 or 5 tenths ahead nearly of Bunty, which is a really good lap by the Scotsman. Bunty there in 4th. The Brit obviously making that transition from FRL F2 last season to FRL F1. And we have got the returning Macho as well here tonight in the Mercedes once again. 15.8 from him. Normally he will go a lot quicker than what we've seen. On board with Henry though, coming out of the middle sector. 52.9 through the middle sector from Henry. I think that's the purple middle sector out of everyone so far from him. So the Alfa Romeo is flying out on track. He has been quite consistent actually in terms of his qualifying performances this season. So we'll see what Henry can do. Out of the final corner, he might go 3rd I think with this lap. Henry round the final corner, on the run to the line. Ignore that, he's just set at the top, 14.5 by 1/10 of a second, and Henry puts it to the top of the standings.
It's on soft, but we will see the medium runner soon on soft, so I think the time will be improved.
Time will be improved, I definitely think, throughout the session. We should see a 13 tonight. If it's not from Jona, I think it'll be from Montana. I would probably put Montana for top. Tom, by the way, is just starting up a lap. He's on a set of medium compounded tyres. Harmon, however, about 5 tenths off Henry's middle sector. 53.4 through the middle sector. So we'll see what the Williams driver can do. Is he going to try and actually come into the pit lane? No, he's going to continue on coming to the final corner. The right-hander of turn number 14. And on the run to the line goes Harmon. And he goes 5th, 14.9. But one of the... only a handful of drivers, I've got to be honest, that have actually set multiple laps on their set of softs.
He would definitely not start on this tyre. Biggest tyre is now around 7% already. Tyre wear is really high here, especially on the softs.
Yeah, very high tyre wear around here. They'll only last 4 or 5 laps, I think, before they really go off the cliff initially at the start of the race. Tom, by the way, looking slow, I've got to say. He's on that set of medium compounded tyres, and obviously the Brit is, I think Kazizl has rejoined the session. Montana's coming through the middle sector as well, just through into the final sector. But Tom now on the run to the line. He goes 10th, 15.7, so he's on the bubble there. Montana as well, on a set of mediums, 53.8, and he snaps it, coming out of turn 13, and then in towards the right-hander of turn 14. Montana should go around Lou area, goes across the line, and he goes actually just behind him by 6,000ths of a second, so not a bad lap there by Montana, but many improvements still to come, obviously, with drivers setting a lap on a set of mediums. We're 8 minutes through qualifying. Myself and Lou obviously taking you through the action here tonight. Is Henry out on top, Jona second, MedTC in third. I think I'm comfortable to say that's the first run's done.
David Encho is now on his medium lap, so let's see what he's gonna do in the Red Bull.
54
also out on track on softs. Can he go to the fastest lap maybe?
Possibly so, yeah. Remco, I think, is just behind him, actually, out on track. Davenenko's coming around the final corner on the run to the line. He goes 14, 16.2. Not a representative lap, but Remco's only 3 tenths off Henry through the middle sector. He goes 7th, and he lost a lot of time, I've got to say, compared to that middle sector. 15.4. I wonder if he had a bit of snap of overseer coming out of 13. So 15.4 behind Bunty. And Bunty currently out-qualifying Remco. And Remco, I don't think he'll be quite happy with that, to be honest.
I think he can go much better with that lap.
Probably can.
Maybe going into the 114s.
Yeah, we should see 114. Oh, Lou has a massive oversteer moment coming through turn number 9. And obviously, you're his engineer. I'm watching this lap and thinking, what would you probably tell him at this point? 53.2 through the middle sector. I'm not sure if he'll come back in sprint. He's 6.5 tenths up. He's going to go around Harmon Ryan sort of area, I think. Jensen gets out the way to the right-hand side. Lou coming in through the final corner. He's on the run to the line. And Needy invalidate out the final corner on the run to the line. Oh, he does go ahead of Ryan. But that snap of oversteer, I've got to say, cost him 2 tenths of a second.
Also, the final corner was not that good. So he can improve much on this lap.
Ruti, championship leader, also on a lap. He's coming through the right-hander of turn 14. There's a Red Bull Remco just coming in the pit lane on the right-hand side of him, and Ruti fights the car at the final corner, and he loses a bit of time at the final corner because he only goes second. 14.5 for our championship leader. Montana saying as well, 13s are very hard with a race setup as Yona goes to the top. 14.3, so Yona edging closer to the 13s. By the judging of Montana's comment there, though, we might not see one tonight.
We will just see. It doesn't surprise me really if we don't get one, because it looks like this game is just some are slower the cars, like 2020 or something.
Yeah, it seems that way. It's always, I think around this track, it's always, sight is quite deceitful, I think, around this track, because you always think it's a quick lap, and it's not. It really isn't around this track, and Barack mainly going to prove that, I think. He's coming through turn number 3. Kazizel was on a lap. He's backed off, though, coming through the middle sector. So clearly wasn't happy with the S section through there. Yona, though, out on top. Henry is second. Ryan there in third. And the Scotsman did go third there. I'm just trying to see if anybody's actually on a lap. MedTC, though, is in the wall.
Starting lap.
MedTC in the wall, just to go on to that. 14.7. And he's in the wall coming out of turn number 2, coming through turn 3, and he's lost entirely his front wing, which is disappointing. But who did you say was on a lap?
Jensen.
Jensen on a lap, down in 13th position at the minute, 15.7. He is on the run up towards turn number 4, the left-hander, and a 26.6 through the first sector. So pretty much where you want to be expecting a first sector certainly to be. Now into the middle sector, coming through turn 5, where I've spun so many times on that curb, it's beyond belief. Barack, though, goes quickest. Yeah, 14.2. The Spaniard now putting the cat amongst the pigeons. He's missed the last couple of weeks here, of course. And Barack now out on top, 14.2. Yona in second, 14.3. Henry in third, 14.5. Jensen through the middle sector, though, 53 flats. He is just off Henry's time. Could potentially improve in this final sector. The Alpine just degrades a bit of speed away, coming out of turn number 12. Then to the left-hander of turn 13. And with 2/3 of qualifying gone, Barack out on top. Yona second. But I think Jensen possibly could go third with this lap. He comes around the final corner on the run to the line. It's a very clean lap, and he goes third, 14.4, and just costed a little bit of time, not much time to be honest. He got cost there in the middle sector, but at 14.4 he is up there pretty much right in there with the cat amongst the pigeons again.
Henry also in this lap now, nearly at the end of sector 1. It's not improving. Also takes the invalid.
Took too much curb. Too much curb coming through turn number 4. And it's so difficult. That part of the track, it's so difficult to get right, because if you get forced offline, as Montana goes second,
he can go quicker than that.
he always can. It's Montana, for goodness sake. He's only a 1/10 of a second off the back of Barack, 14.3. But as he said on the comment section, that 13s are very hard with a race setup on. Henry, by the way, what I was coming on to that point was, through turn 4, it's so difficult to get that corner actually right. If you get caught on the curb, you're going to be forced off camber of the corner, and you're going to end up invalidating your lap, and we've exactly just seen that with Henry. He's back into pit lane, but still, P5, very respectful so far.
Nobody on a valid lap, actually.
Yeah, Physical's invalid. Remco was on a lap. He's invalid, though, through the middle sector.
Improving in
yeah.
15,000.
I think that's pretty much... Well, I would say that's it for qualifying. It's not. It's still 4 minutes to go. Baraka out on top, Montana second, Yona in third. But while we've got a little bit of break, obviously, in the racing and in the qualifying lap time so far out on track, let's just analyse what we've seen so far. Baraka obviously out on top. Montana second, Yona in third. Only a tenth of a second really covering the top three. Is extremely close in qualifying.
Hopefully that's also in the race. Yeah. Ruti now out on track. Can he go to pole maybe?
I think he could. We saw this lap obviously a little bit earlier on. And for me, Ruti, 14.5. Championship leader, he's normally quite good in qualifying. I'm not sure if he's good around this track. He's just invalidated coming through turn number 3, so I'm not sure if he is good around this track. But Ruti, coming through turn 4, 14.5. Where would you expect him to go if he does improve on his lap?
P4.
P4, yes, so ahead of Jensen.
P3. He can improve in the final corner. We saw him slide, losing the rear at the in the final corner, so he can improve there. He doesn't invalidate.
Yeah, 14.5 at the minute. Obviously invalidating on his formation lap. Luckily was actually through the first couple of corners, not through the last couple of corners, because it would have been on this next lap invalidation. But we'll go on board with the Finn, the championship leader. The CPI man is coming now through the final corner, because this will also preparing up for lap in the third sector there. But Ruti now around the final corner has got traffic coming out the pit lane in front of him, so they best get out of the way before he gets to turn 1. And that's exactly what the Alfa Romeo is doing at least. Ruti down in towards turn number 1 though. 14.5 should go ahead of Jensen, I think, in terms of his lap time. Could possibly improve better than that though, if this is all hooked up and he gets that lap in. Ruti now coming through the left-hander of turn number 2, through the right-hander of turn number 3, of course, where we saw Verstappen and Ricciardo go side by side, of course, back in the day around here. Ruti through the first sector, 26.6, so up there in terms of the first sector split, coming out through the right-hander of turn number 5, getting as close to that curb as possible, not obviously running over the curb because he would have been sent for a spin. Ruti there coming towards 6 and 7. I've got to be honest, this is looking like a really clean lap so far. Coming through turn 8, through the right-hander of 9, then to the left-hander of turn number 10, because Zizzle's through the first sector split there as well, so we'll come on board with him in a second. But Ruti through the middle sector, he's flying 52.8 in the middle sector, finds nearly 2/10 alone in the middle sector, and this is a good lap from Ruti. Could possibly challenge Barak currently for provisional pole. 14.271 is the lap time to beat. Baruti, championship leader, coming out the final corner. The first of the lap times to be set in this final stage of the qualifying. Out of the final corner, on the run to the line, and he goes quickest with a 14.1 and found 2/10 of a second in that final sector. Really good lap from him. Kazizel, though, looks like he's invalidated.
Lewis out of the session, actually.
He is. Coming through turn 5, he lost it. He got too much on the curb, I think.
I think so. Also, I see in the Discord, MattTC is angry at Baraka. He's asking if Baraka is blind, so maybe there's a report coming Baraka his way.
I think that's the typical MedTC comment, to be honest. I think he's also coming into the comment section as well. Zapor, by the way, good evening. We are doing fine in the commentary box here tonight. Yona not actually improving. Montana's not improving at the minute. There's hardly anybody on laps. Just looking there, I know we've got 30 seconds left, but I'm shocked there's hardly anybody on a lap at the minute. It looks like, it's Bunty goes for a spin, coming out of turn number 12. I'm not sure if he was just warming up his tyres there. I thought he actually spun coming through turn 12. But Bunty has got the car going. It seems, though, that drivers are preparing up for their final laps, at least.
Jonah is in the lap. He's coming onto turn 2 now. Let's see what he can do. Can he go to pole position is the question now. And maybe... Can he go into the 113s?
Yeah, 26.6 through the first sector is not too bad. Montana's actually furthest on the lap, I believe. He's coming through turn number 11 through the right-hander now, through the middle sector. 52.8 through the middle sector. Montana's on one here, coming through the final couple of corners through turn 12. And obviously, if you can focus on Jona's lap, that'll be brilliant. Montana, though, coming through the final couple of corners here as Barak goes... Kazizel goes third, 14.3. Good lap from him. Montana, though, around the final corner. The NSX man trying to go to the top end of the standings, and he goes third, and he lost a bit of time at the final corner. Jona, though, 1100ths down on the middle sector. He's coming through the final sector now. Can he try and find 2.5 tenths of a second through this final sector? It's possible. Can he do it, though? Jona around the final corner on the run to the line. He nearly did. He nearly did. He goes second. Barak is on the lap as well.
Jensen also out in turn 5. But what can Baraka do now, is the question.
Oh, it doesn't improve. He does improve. He doesn't improve in terms of position. Bunty across the line does improve slightly. Goes 9th ahead of MedTC. Tom, though, goes 10th. He's on the borderline there. And that, I think, is the end of qualifying. It is the end of qualifying. So quick, you blink and you miss it. It is Ruti out on top. Jona in second. Barak in third. And just to put it out there, top 16 drivers are separated by 8 tenths of a second.
Yeah, it's really close in qualifying, especially the top 3 within 1 tenth. So hopefully it's going to be a good race.
Should be a good race indeed. Looking through some of the comments, by the way, Falcon, I'm not sure if that might be MedTC in terms of putting some very choice words towards Remco there. Just a reminder, all of these drivers give up their time to race here tonight, and be fair in the commentary, in the comment section. I have got access to the channel, so I can ban you if needs be. Ruti though out on top. It is Jona in second, Barak there in third, Montana in fourth. Kazizel ran off the top 5, and I mean a 10.5 covering the top 5. Not a bad qualifying session at all. Jensen there in 6th, Henry there in 7th, Ryan there in 8th, Bunty there in 9th, Tom ran off the top 10, MedTC in 11th, Lou there in 12th, Macho 13th, Remco 14th, Harman in 15th, Physical 16th, Davidenko in 17th, and Teork running off the top 18 drivers. Actually, everyone got a valid lap in, which is good. Baruti out on top, Jona in second, and I immediately can witness these two going side by side down towards turn 1.
Well, I see Lou in the discus is furious at Remco.
Ah, it's Lou in the comment section. Oh, sorry, MedTC. I thought it was Lou. It's Lou in the comment section.
Maybe it's Yuri. I don't know. Actually,
I don't know. No, he says. Mystery man, reveal yourself, I think, in the comment section there. Yeah, I don't have it. That's Yuri, okay. It is Yuri. He was saying that Remco apparently screwed up Lou's lap time. So that is why, obviously, those comments were made. That's fair enough if that's the case. We might have not caught that on the stream. If you caught it on your end, I'm sure the stewards will obviously have a look at everything. And hopefully, maybe, if a report gets put in, obviously it's dealt with in the steward's office, and obviously going forward, hopefully there are valid steward's reports as well for F1, and hopefully an improvement in driving standards from last week as well. But coming into tonight here, Jesse, obviously Ruti there out on top, championship leader, Jona alongside him. This could be quite an intense battle between them both if they get off the line well.
I hope so. I'm not hoping that it's gonna be bowling like Bottas did this year. So let's see.
Definitely don't want that, otherwise the stewards will be having an absolute field day down towards turn 1, and that'll be probably the main incident of the race. Hopefully nobody does that though. There is the view from Ruti's camera angle, by the way. Formation lap is now beginning, so I'll get everything up on the right hand side, and it's pretty much a split strategy right down the middle. Top 10 obviously qualifying on that set of soft compounder tyres. Everyone else has opted for the set of mediums. That now, though, cries out to me, because Montana obviously said there was going to be rain at the end of the race. That cries to me, though, as if we're not going to get any rain at all.
If it's like lap 25, 26 you predict, medium runners can make that.
Yeah, around this track though, with the conditions in this game especially, they turn so quick, and even if the rain comes lap 25, 26, it takes around 2 laps I think around this track to actually get the rain on the circuit enough so it actually turns to inters. So if that's the case, we should see into around 28-29, about 6-7 laps from the end of the race. But to me, the strategy seems like it's calling out to me as if there's not going to be any rain at the end of the race. And if that is the case, if the rain comes lap 30-31, you're probably not going to get any valid conditions to go on to inters right at the end.
Yeah, I don't think so also. Yeah, we would just see maybe with some safety cars, it's enough to pit to inters, that the rain will come sooner maybe.
Yeah, if the rain comes sooner, then everyone will have to pit in, obviously, for a set of inters. We're not really know anything in terms of the rain. I'm normally quite spot on in terms of our weather predictions, so I hope I'm going to get it right tonight. I think, though, the drivers are now coming around the final couple of corners. As I said, in terms of the... Just to come on quickly to the strategies as well before I ask you for your top 3, Jesse. Soft compounded tyres, top 10, we should see lap drivers come in from around lap 4, lap 5. They go off so quickly around this track, around 7-8% a lap. Mediums are not too bad. They, though, can only make 12-13 laps, and then they have to come into the pit lane. But, Jesse, final cars are now done on the grid. Who's your top 3?
Jonah P1, Ruti P2, and Montana P3.
Interesting, not bad. To be honest, I'll probably go similar in terms of my top 3. I am going to go Montana for the win. I think he might be just too quick for the guys. Yona for second, and I'm going to go Jensen for third. The 5 red lights are coming out here, though, in FRL for round number 6 of the championship, and it is... Light down, away we go, and Ruti gets a very good start. Yona responds, but look at Montana off the start. Montana has got a really good run. He's going to be 3 wide, perhaps, down in towards turn number 1. Ruti decides to cover up Barack, who has got up to second, and it's 3 wide in towards turn number 1. Hopefully the desync isn't too bad through here. Montana runs Yona out wide, and now goes side by side with Barack. Down in towards turn number 2, the Spaniard. There's an Alfa Romeo around, just in the background of shot there, or an Alfa Tauri going wide, but Montana dives it down the inside of 2, and gets a little bit of contact. It looks like a bit of desync occurred there. Hopefully not coming back, and everyone has to take avoiding action. There's a Haas round, and that as well, and that is Lou. I think that is round. It's Henry, sorry, yeah, Henry is round. Lou, I think, also got caught up in that as well, but Ruti leads the way. Montana second, Kazizel is up to third. Really good start from him. Yona in fourth, Bunty in fifth, Jensen in sixth. However, it looks like we're getting a little bit of desync issues, which is just to do with the patch update, nothing to do with the lobby or anything. It is the patch update, but it's Henry that went round, so my apologies. Henry went round right at the back of the field. Don't think he's got any damage though, which is good for him. Barack got caught up in that incident as well. Down there in P7, he is lagging all over the place early on. Ruti though leads the way, Montana second, Kazizel in third. Very hectic lap 1.
Yeah, it was a little bit chaotic going into turn 3. We saw Barack get pushed on the grass.
And it's 3 wide, sorry to cut you off, it's 3 wide in the background, coming out of turn number 13, Macho, Harmon and Davidenko were going 3 wide out of the final couple of quarters. It is Harmon that came out on top of that. Macho was on the inside line, lost the position, and he might be losing another one here to Davidenko. Down the inside line, the Spaniard goes on the back of the Dutchman, running out down in towards turn number 2. They come out of the camera angle, and they're still side by side. Macho's not giving this up lightly, dives it down the inside line on Davidenko. Davidenko holds it around the outside line though. Macho though just about gets that move done and holds on to the position. Brilliant racing.
What a battle that was. As Tom passed Ryan for P8, so he's making up positions also. Started P10, now he's in P8.
He is indeed. Let's have a look. Position changes actually from the first lap of the race. Bunty's gained 4 positions. How's Bunty in 5th? Bunty is in 5th, and he's behind Yona. What?
There was much carnage at the start, where Henry spun. Of course, Barack, I don't know what happened, but he was on the grass or something and almost lost the car. Then some drivers, and then he slowed down. Then some drivers, yeah, there was some carnage actually with some spins, damage, maybe contact.
Yeah. He had contact with Montana. Just come on to that. He had contact with Montana coming out the final 2 corners. The first couple of corners even. Tom, by the way, is going to get the move done on Barack down the inside line. Can he try and get the job done? He's on the inside line. The Brit against the Spaniard. You can tell how decent the Spaniard is on the left-hand side, just with the jump effect, basically. Tom isn't going to care about that, though. He tries to go all the way around the outside through turn number 2. He will have the traction through 3 on the inside line, just about battling, and he's going to back out of this one because Barack holds the traction. Nice.
Good battle again there.
really respectful racing, I've got to be honest as well. Really respectful racing. Tom is not going to go down the inside here, is he? In towards turn 6 and 7. Barack has to cut across the corner, and there was no other way that was going to happen. Barack stays ahead. He's entitled to stay ahead. He was ahead going into the corner. I think Tom should have just not sent that down the inside line, because now they've lost DRS.
They lost DRS.
To Jensen.
Also, Ruti already 1.5 seconds away of Montana.
He's flying, isn't he? He's flying the fin. 1.5 seconds, as you say, ahead of Montana. Kazizel there in third, and if we get Montana and Kazizel going side by side, you know it's going to be a good battle between them both. But I think Montana will probably just send him behind for now. Is Tom, though, going to sit on the back of Barack? I don't think he will. He's got so much speed running down the straight. In towards turn number 1, pulls the outside line, Barack to the inside line. Just literally like a rolling roadblock, I think, coming through turn 1 there, but Tom should have the run, surely in towards turn 2 to get this move done. Barack is on the inside line, still a bit of desync occurring between them both, bit forceful there from Barack, hangs him out wide, and Tom goes for a slide, coming out of turn 2 and 3, and Tom has to stay in behind for now. And Jesse, if you were in this position, you'd just be willing Barack saying, come on, pick up the pace, get us onto that DRS train. Otherwise, Tom is losing complete at a time, and it's so frustrating for him.
Yeah, Barack is really good defending, but he also needs to pick up the pace to get DRS and hold Tom behind him.
Yeah, and look at Tom, he's so much quicker coming through the middle sector as well, on the back of Barack. 7th and 8th position. We'll focus on this battle for now, because there's nothing really happening up and down the field at the minute. Ruti's still leading the way, 1.7 seconds clear of Montana. Tom, though, surely third time's a charm. Surely he's going to get the move done. Not if he's going to be like that, though. Coming on the curb out of turn 13, just about recovers the car. He has, however, lost the position to Ryan, and his rears are absolutely shot because he's gone round coming through turn 14. And Tom got too trigger happy, I think, on the curb. He took too much curb. He's there around, and he's now right down the back of the field. That's unfortunate for Tom, who was in a really promising position, but he's just overheated his rears completely.
Overheating is actually an issue here with the softs and mediums a little bit. I had a race in F3 yesterday. I started on hards, and they were just not overheating.
Which is why you would imagine why did drivers in the top 10 not qualify on a set of medium compounded tyres? Because the medium, middle of the road, you would imagine they're going to be picking up the pace as the race obviously goes on. But lap 5 out of 35, at 8th of the way through the race. Ruti leads the way, Montana in second, Kazizel in third, Yona fourth, Bunty fifth, Jensen, Barack, Ryan, MedTC and Lou. What were you saying there? Physical?
Ruti is flying, almost 2 seconds away now of Montana.
Yeah, he's got so much pace as Ruti. And he showed that in Imola. I remember in Imola a couple of weeks ago. He had so much pace there. There was a yellow flag that's turned around again, coming through the S section of turn 8 and 9. He may as well, at this point, I would say, just continue on. Montana, Kazizel, Yona, Bunty, all in the pits. There's another yellow flag. That's Tom. And Yona has to take avoiding action because Kazizel stood up so much in front of him there, coming into the pit lane. Yona nearly went into the back of him, but Kazizel there in 7th, Yona there in 9th, another yellow flag, that's Tom spinning. He may as well come in and retire the car. His rears are completely overshot, but as we said about drivers pitting in around lap 4-5, end of lap 5, here's everyone into the pitch for a set of mediums.
Montana leading that medium train behind him now.
Yeah, he is leading the DRS train. Sorry, I had to try.
This lap maybe as Tom retired, sadly in the pit lane.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that he retires.
Obviously,
I would do the same maybe.
Yeah, around this track though, obviously safety cars are an absolute premium. They normally come out more often than not. So Tom, obviously disappointing that he's retired, but he's there, obviously down in P18. To be honest, if I spun 3-4 times on one lap, I'd be calling it quits as well. So I totally understand what he's done there. And obviously, it's his choice at the end of the day. At least he retired into the pit lane, though. As, speaking of coming into the pit lane, Ruti into the pits. Jensen, Ryan, all in the pits. The soft runners are in. And Ruti now leads the way. But where is he going to come out in terms of Montana? For reference, Montana is coming through turn 13. Ruti, with the McLaren pit stop obviously being third up in the pit lane, he is now coming out of his pit box. So Ruti, Montana at the final corner. I think Ruti's going to be comfortably ahead still here.
Yeah. Maybe Montana is in his DRS, but he will not overtake him.
He hasn't. No, Jensen. Look at Jensen as well. Jensen's
He's
actually
also
lost
not in
more
his
time.
DRS. He only gained half a second on routine, but he has warmer tires, so he's closing in now. Also in routine. Henry pitted to a set of medium tires. He's still continuing on for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, we've got oh, physical goes past Davydenko, just coming on board with that. That was looking quite close, that battle. I think Davydenko's just made a mistake there, though. The Spaniard pretty much got caught on the curb, I think, there. Physical, though, through laps up that free position. He's through, he's into 6, so good move there by him in the Alpine. And, of course, inspired by Esteban Ocon's performance, I think, in real life around. So he's up into 6 ahead of Davydenko with T-Hawk there in 8. Been a nice start to the race, I think, here in Hungary. Obviously, Ruti leading that DRS train. He's in the net lead of the race, but Montana, this is Montana on the back of him, and he's less than the second away, and he's in DRS, I think, this lap around.
Lou also close on the back of Matt TC.
He is.
Will he go for the dive?
No.
No. Matt TC locks up, so maybe there can be overtake from Lou.
Turn 2, I think it could be, but no, he doesn't run any DRS, any ERS, in fact, running down in towards turn 2. And I think, to be honest, that's probably the best play to do. I'm waiting behind a MTC, but it's a driver's instinct, I think, to try and go for a move. And Lou will want to go for this move. He'll realise where MTC has got weak points out on track, and Lou will try and exploit them, force him into a mistake, and that'll be a free position for Lou. He should be, though, I would say, quicker in the second half than in the first half, obviously with the mediums already coming in. Speaking of making mistakes, so literally I said that 20 seconds ago, MTC's just picked up a 3-second penalty.
Maybe not even 20 seconds ago.
Like 10 seconds ago, I think that was, to be honest. But yeah, MTC, obviously it is so... The track limits around here are completely vile, especially coming out of turn 4. Lou saying, oh, Zapor, by the way, saying Lou heard on his stream that rain is coming in 10 minutes.
Bunty also now with 3-second time penalty. Jensen on the back of the Aston Martin. Bunty don't have DRS, so maybe Jensen can overtake him down in towards turn 1.
I think he will. Lou on the back of MTC, not quite close enough. Macho gets the move done on Harmon, further up the field, on board there with Jensen. This is going to be probably the easiest move you'll see all night. Jensen to the inside line, through turn, well, not even in towards turn number 1, gets the job done, and he's through and he's into 13. But just to come on to that point there from Zapor, in the comment section saying there, on Lou, his stream, I heard there is rain coming in 10 minutes time. So if that is the case...
Jeff is just like always saying it, it's rain in 10 minutes. Then 5 minutes later he says again in 10 minutes. So, we will see.
If it's in 10 minutes, it'll be around lap 17, lap 18, I think. We'll get to that point and it'll be around lap 17, 18. If, though, rain, Montana said rain's coming at the end of the race, I'm still convinced it'll be around 25, 26 laps into the race. So anywhere really between lap 17 and lap 26, I think there is rain forecast.
Yeah, we would just see it. Just wait for it.
You'll know by the conditions changing out on track. If it comes over cloudy, and it stays cloudy for a couple of minutes, and then it rains... You know, there is probably rain going to be coming. Lou on the back of MedTC, I think, realises this. Down the inside line and towards turn number 1. Oh, MedTC!
They collide a little bit.
Yeah, turns across on him. In towards turn 1. Lou got the move done. In towards turn number 2. Move's already done. Just a little bit of spatial awareness, perhaps, from MedTC. Not saying he did anything wrong there at all. But judging by the line he was trying to take, I don't think he was realising that Lou was going to go for the move. Third time's a charm, though, and he does go for that move, as Ruti's going side by side with T-Hawk, coming up the hill, and T-Hawk lets him through, and Ruti's through, and he's into 8th.
Matty also locked up, so Mini's tires are just done now at this moment. Yeah, why would he pit now? It's lap 10 only.
They'll probably go halfway stage, I think. Drivers will probably try and extend out their stint. If there's rain coming, they'll have to extend out their stint. It's as simple as that. Lou leading the way. MTC in second, obviously with that 3-second penalty. Harmon, I think, is the latest one to pick up a 3-second penalty. But interestingly, Ruti now has put his teammate between himself and Montana. T-Hawk and Montana I will be honest here, don't like each other. There is something going to happen between these two. I think it's going to be more Montana getting the move done on Teal'c, and Teal'c just lets him by. But you can just tell in terms of the defensive driving, I think Teal'c's going to try and let Kazizel have a run on Montana here. Speaking of Ruti, though, on the back of Davydenko, in towards turn number 1, more immediately, getting the move done, and Montana pulls the outside on Teal'c. Oh, Montana spun! Montana clips the left-hand side of Teal'c. Davydenko and Ruti, by the way, still fighting. Ruti gets that job done into 7. That was a weird one. Barak's trying to go around the outside line on Montana. It's almost as if...
I think Montana shouldn't have gone for this move. He was a little bit too far of Teal'c. So he just needed to wait, I think.
Yeah, he needed to wait, but... to be honest, it looked on. The move looked on. Teal'c, I think, just put his car so far to the left-hand side that Montana's only option, really, was to go either into the side of him or to be forced off onto the curb and then potentially lose it on the curb and then spin into Teal'c. So Teal'c, I think, did a really good piece of defending there. But at Montana's expense, basically what's happened there is they've got caught on each other. One of the cars has ended up, because of the physics on this game, as Teal'c just replicates that coming through turn 13. He spun as well. The rears overheat, and Teal'c now round, and I think Montana will probably be waving goodbye to him at that point. That says, well, thank you very much. The students don't need to deal with that one now.
Or Montana thinks karma.
Karma indeed, Yona. By the way, on the back of Kazizel, down the inside and towards turn 1. He is third, and that's for net second position as well. Barak launches it around the outside line of Montana as well. And Montana holds on to position. Here comes Ryan on the back of him. Not going to be close enough in towards turn 2. And I think also we saw Macho get the move done on Remco in towards turn 1. He's into third. As Zapova said, now Jeff at Lou, his stream says 10 to 15 minutes.
I said that. You never know it with Jeff.
Which will further back up my point. I still think it's going to be 25, 26 laps in and we'll get inters.
We would just see, I don't know, maybe lap 20 starts raining, but then at 25 it's time for inters.
Yeah, possibly so.
Yes,
We're no weather experts here in the commentary box, so don't trust us, trust Jeff.
It still looks like the weather didn't change from the start to the race to this point now.
Yeah, I mean...
so there will be late rain.
There's a bit of cloud building up over the circuit, but I wouldn't say it's like rain sort of clouds. It's not like menacing over the circuit, it's just like fair weather cloud. I think at this point, Yona, by the way, on the back of Davydenko, there should be a move down in towards turn 1. Yona's actually not opting to use his ERS down in towards turn 1, because Zizzle's going to try and come through on this as well, down the inside and towards turn 1. He's going to be alongside Davydenko and towards turn number 2. Can he get, though, that DRS to go all the way around the outside of turn 2? Yona is through, in that position, he's through into the P8. Kazilda, though, forced out wide by the Red Bull. Kazil says, you know what, I'm still coming through anyways. He's through. Nice move that by Kazil. He's through and he's into 9th, and that is why he's a consummate professional out on track. Kazil is back and he's through and he's into 9th. Nice move that. Davydenko gave him all sorts of room there. Fair play to him. Kazil just too strong.
Well, I see some moves from places that I didn't expect the drivers will make some moves. Like turn 3 we saw some moves. Yeah, it's just interesting now, the battles. Also the DRS trains.
Just remember though, everything is possible in FRL F1. Everything is possible. Even a move around the outside of turn 5, which I'm still predicting to be towards the end of the race, hopefully. But definitely cloud beginning to build over the circuit. Even from last lap around, you could tell that the weather is beginning to sort of change over the circuit. Maybe some fair weather cloud building up, as I say. Physical on the back of Harman. Now to the inside line, the Finn gets the move done, does he? Goes a little bit too deep. Could let Ruti in as well here. Yeah, could you call that hard defending from Physico? I think you could. Ruti goes around the outside of Harman. Just about leaves a room. Gets the job done. He's through. He's in 6th. And I think Jensen was trying to get through on Davydenko. Oh, actually, do you know what?
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
But maybe we can go now into turn 5.
No, he's not close. Jensen hasn't got enough ERS to try and go for the move anyways. But it looked on there for a moment. Jensen, I think, will wait behind, though. If Davydenko's slow enough coming through this section of the track, I think Jensen will go for a move at turn 12.
Well, Davydenko has more DRS as Jensen, but he don't has DRS. With the DRS trains, it's key for Jensen now to save some ERS also.
Yeah, he's only on 18%. Davydenko there in front of him is on relatively the same amount, 26% or so. Ruti, by the way, more immediately, the Battle of the Finns, I think, are going to kick off here for 5th and 6th position. It is physical on the back of Remco as well, but nobody's going to be close enough in towards turn 1, so that's a wasteful move, I think. Jona on the back of Harman, looking close, dives it to the inside line, actually, does Jona, and gets the job done. Oh, the teammates, another wonder he got the job done so easily there. Jonas Stoney's into 7th. But was thinking to myself...
through Davydenko, and the weather is changing. It's a crossover.
It is. It still dries though, but you can tell that the lights are beginning to dim out on track, and that is an indicator of rain possibly incoming. 10 to 15 minutes. If Zapol said that around 10 minutes ago, I think he's probably spot on. So, lap 17's approaching. I said between 17 and 26 laps into the race we'll get wet weather. I think I'm looking pretty much dead on, I think, for that.
I also think so. Matty picking up another 3-second time penalty.
Oh, Ruti! Beautiful. Beautiful move. Sorry to cut you off there, Jesse, but I had to cover that. Ruti lunged it down the inside line into turn 12. We got the move done there at turn 12. Ruti through, not hanging around. He's through on his fellow Finn. He's through and he's into 5th, and... still, he's in that DRS train, but he's got Remco, Macho, MedTC going out at the head of him. Ruti, I think, just needs to pick them off one by one because he's got so many cars between himself and Jona. And Kazizel, who switched it to the inside on Harman. Harman has to try and defend that hard. Kazizel probably thinking, what are you doing there? Kazizel now to the outside line. They've both got DRS though. It's a drag race through turn 2 in towards the right-hander of turn number 3. And Kazizel, I think, is going to loop this all the way around the outside. Lovely move that by Kazizel. He is through. And Ruti is going side by side through turn 4. We get the move. Ruti's through around the outside of Remco. In through turn number 4, around the outside. The McLaren and Physical was through, yeah, and Physical got the move done on Remco through turn 5 as well. So 2 of my expectations have just came off, or 3 of my expectations have just come off in pretty much the same lap. Ruti through on Ruti through on Remco, Remco then through on Physical, Kazizel and Jona, by the way, going side by side, and look at how conditions have changed now out on track. Kazizel, now on the back of Remco, gets the job done.
Ruti overtake Macho there. Macho really poor exit there. Losing the rear wing. And also, it's cloud now, we can confirm.
Really cloudy out on track. Jona, though, coming into the pits, it looked like he had a problem there.
Jona also, maybe he has damage.
I think he has. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if he gets a front wing change. Ruti, by the way, now through on MedTC and towards turn 1, lunged that down the inside line, got the job done there.
Also, maybe he had an incident with Remco, I think.
Ah, yeah. Jona front wing change.
He had an incident with Remco.
So, I think that was probably... was that spawned from Physical, obviously going down the inside of turn 5 on Davydenko, and then Jona possibly got caught up in that incident? Have to have been.
Maybe.
Have to have been.
Teok and Henry are fighting.
No let up in the action here, is there? Henry through in his P14, Teok there 15, and Jona, by the way, got the job done down in towards someone on Remco coming out the pit lane. Never seen that before. Jona through and he's into 16th. Remco there 17th. Zapol, by the way, saying that Jeff says rain is coming, rain is coming. That normally means rain is 5 minutes away. Out on track. Kazizel has just got the job done on Physical as well, coming through turn 12. Jensen on the back of Harman's looking quite close as well. Baruti.
More drivers are joining the DRS train. MedTC leading that DRS train. So interesting to see.
Yeah, really interesting to see. Matcha, though, has got so much ERS to use up. Can he use this up down the straight? I think now, rain's going to come lap 21. I'll put it on now. I'll put my house on it. Lap 21. Rain will start falling. Either just before 21... Yeah,
23, I say.
23... I would say it's 5 minutes away, though. So 5 minutes away is, what, 21? 22 laps. So possibly so. Jensen's got the move done, by the way, and Harmon, I think that was out of turn number 1, he got that job done, he's into 7th. But the problem is now, Jesse, Rooty there in 2nd has got no cars, pretty much, apart from Lou ahead of him. He's got no cars between himself and the next 2nd, who's Kazizel. Kazizel has got 2 cars ahead of him, both Mercedes. This is torture for Kazizel, because he's on the back of Macho and Med TC, and he can't go anywhere.
Well, Lou will just drive until it's inters. It would be good for Lou if it's gonna turn now on. If the rain is coming now, then he can possibly win the race. Because it's through Macho also. Look at that DRS train from P3 to P11.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a gap beginning to build. Jensen got the move done on physical there as well. And the gap just built outside of a 2nd. They're inside the 2nd now, so everyone will pick up that DRS train again. Montana, by the way, has to defend up Barack. Coming through the final corner, tries to loop it around the outside. Through the final corner to get the better run on Harmon. Harmon on the back. Physical, Kazizel on the back of ATC gets that job done. Harmon around the outside of Physical, tries to get the job done. Montana, though, this is going to be open up like a kettle of fish, I think. Down the inside and towards turn number 2.
Rain.
Not going to get the move done, and it is raining. It is raining. Lap 19 out of 35, it's raining. So pretty much halfway stage, only a couple of laps out, actually.
I think you were right with lap 21.
Yeah, it will be inters by lap 21.
This is really good for Lou now that the rain is coming. He can possibly win now from P12, so it's not looking good for Rooty now. But he needs to make the right call maybe, and then Lou makes a bad call. We would just see.
Yeah, rain is quite light out on track at the minute, so if the rain begins to fall a bit heavier, now it's beginning to fall a little bit heavier. Just coming through turn number 12 there with Jensen. Rain is beginning to fall a little bit heavier now out on track. If the rain, though, was to fall at this intensity, I don't think we'll get inters for a good couple of laps yet. It could be that point where it rains, but it doesn't wet the track enough for the drivers to come in. I've been wrong with that before while I've said that, so don't listen to me, listen to Jeff, as I already say. Jensen, though, is probably going to get this move done on the back of MedTC, in towards turn number 1, the Mercedes, under pressure from the Alpine, should be clean sailing, down the inside and towards turn 1, and Jensen gets the job done, he's into 4th.
It's raining heavier now. And
it is,
interesting, is he going to pit to the inters, is he the first one? Yeah, he's gonna pit to the intermediates, but that is way too early. Yeah, he needs to, he has damage.
Yeah, Bunty's got damage, but into the pit lane on side of inters, that's a forced pit stop, I think we can call it, possibly from Bunty. But it's not inters at the minute, and dare I say it's not going to be inters for a little while, because the rain is not really impacting on the circuit, on the tarmac yet. Montana, I'm right on board with, on the back of Harmon, is all over the back of him like a hot rash, and he can't get this move done. Rain now beginning to fall a little bit heavier, though, coming to this part of the track, and it's sort of like... Yeah, it's sort of like real life, to be honest, where the rain came, I think in real life, from around turn 12, I think it was in real life, and I think the rain has pretty much came from that point in the circuit, as Macho was dived very late into the pit lane. He is coming into the pits. Rain beginning to get a bit heavier. He indicates coming into the pit lane. I think, though, he's going to get a bit of slap wrist, because that was over the white line coming into the pits. Oh, contact! Sorry to cut you off again. I'm just flicking the board there. That was a weird one. Physico and Montana both got caught up in contact there. Montana there, I think, tried to force the move to the inside line on turn number 1 on Physico. He sent Physico round, and Baraka's going to go around the outside of Harmon and towards turn number 4. We get 2 moves for the price of 1 in this race. Barak ran the outside of Harmon, gets the job done. But Montana, I think, forced it down the inside line. Physico possibly gave him shorter room there. Both of them came out as worse as each other, and Montana's obviously ahead of Physico. So, in fairness, the driver who I think probably didn't cause... Yeah, probably didn't cause the contact is ahead.
I'm just spectating Bunty now, he's on board. It's just not working, the inters. I saw him slide out of the final corner, so it's just not inters now. And Macho also pitted too early then.
But the rain is falling heavier. The rain, I'm right on board with Lou running down the straight, and the rain is falling a lot heavier now out on track. And it's inevitable. Probably, I would say, in a lap and a half's time, I think it'd be DRS disabled. I don't know, though. I really don't know. This is why I'm not a weather expert.
Now Baraka can maybe overtake Matisse down towards turn 2, and he does.
Yeah, nice.
Now Baraka's through.
Yeah, nice job by Baraki. Soon he's into 5th. There's a spinner. Is that Macho set of inters? Not inters yet, but a couple of laps time, he might be onto something. The rain is definitely falling. I can now see actually rain beginning to fall on the camera lens, so that indicates inters are not too far away. But if it continues raining, as I say, at this intensity, it could be the case where it rains, it doesn't really wet the track, and then drivers obviously will have to decide. There's another yellow flag and lose out the race.
Safety car, that would be very
It's off track. It's off track. Normally when I see a crash through there and it's off track, we don't get a safety car.
How did he spin? There, that's
outside curb. Outside curb at turn 12. If you get caught on that, it sends the car completely round, and Lou is probably going to be absolutely banging on his steering wheel, I think, at this point. He'll be so annoyed by that. He led the race, he was doing well, he was consistent in terms of his pace to route, he did everything right, and then he spins.
I'm just gonna watch his stream back now what exactly happened.
Montana, by the way, Harmon sideways out of turn, sideways out of turn number 1. Montana tries to go on the outside line now for 2. Can the Swissman go around the outside of the Dutchman? Tries to get the job done, should get the job done. Has he got the job done? Yes, he has. Montana's through, and he's into second.
Look at the track.
Oh yeah, Inter's probably this lap around, I think. Unbelievable. Ruti leads the way. Kazizzle second. Biggest indicator will be, will Ruti come into the pit lane this lap around? In terms of Macho,
this, you will be very angry.
Oh, and Henry's out.
Henry off.
Turn 5, that is. And that's a safety car.
Yeah, I can't see if it's a safety car for ESC, but everyone will box to the Inters now.
It's a full safety car. Full safety car out on track. So everyone will have to come in for Inters. I think this is rather fortunate, to be honest, because the rain is falling. The track was about to get wet. DRS was about to be disabled. And now Ruti into the pits. Everyone will be into the pit lane. Matcham and Bunty you have to feel so sorry for, because they're going to be right on the back of this DRS train. And the rain is falling. So Ruti into the pits, Kazizzle also in. They're all going for Inters. They've got no other choice now to go for Inters. But imagine this, though, and I'm just going to say it now. Imagine if it's Inters, by lap 30, if the rain stops and it hasn't wetted the track enough, is it still going to be dries? There's something to think about.
Well, the safety car, it's now just falling heavier and heavier. I see now on the track. I also see some white things on the track on the wet, so it's Inters.
Yeah, definitely Inters. Now you can tell.
Floor damage in the chat.
Yeah, Montana floor damage. He must have picked that up from an earlier collision, maybe with Physical, perhaps through turn 1, is where he picked it up. We'll probably get confirmation of that in the comment section. But obviously, safety car is now out. The race has been neutralised, per se. Ruti leads the way, Kazizzle second, Jensen in third, Barak in fourth, and Montana was actually saying he got that on lap 1. Wow. What happened on lap 1 with him? I'm trying to think back now.
It's Inters now.
Definitely Inters now. But I'm on board with Harmon though, and I'm looking at the rain and it looks quite light. The rain. I know he's going at slow speed, but still. It's a weird one. He got contact from Barak apparently. Barak was the enforcer, I think, in terms of
one then. Yeah.
Because there were
going on the grass.
Turn 2. It was turn 2.
Turn
Had
2,
to have been. turn 2 because they were going side by side, and obviously Montana had that snap of oversteer, and Baraka got forced off, so it was either turn 2 or turn 3, I think, and it was because of his lag, apparently, which we commented actually on coming through turn 2, as Lou's obviously left the session, but Teal'c into the pit lane, and this is for a new set of inters. I don't know why he's done that, to be honest, because he was already on a set of inters in the first place.
I don't know.
Weird call.
Weird choice.
He's going to be miles ahead of Macho. He's going to be miles ahead of Macho coming out the pits. He's going to be miles ahead of Bunty. He's on a lap pressure. What will a lap pressure tyres do, though, for him? It's like you're going under a set of hard compounded tyres for 26 out of 27 laps at Silverstone, trying to get to the end, and then you put a puncture on the final lap of the race. It's the best way I could describe that, to be honest. Teal'c, anyway, I'm not questioning his strategy at all. He can do what he wants. He's a driver at the end of the day. But Teal'c there, 13th, he didn't need to come in the pit lane. He would have been in that position anyways. He's still behind Remco. He's still behind Yona. A lap pressure tyres for what? Is what's going through my head.
Yeah, especially now with the safety car tyres are not getting much overheated or something now with this rain also. So, weird choice for me.
I've got to be honest though. I'm not seeing a lot of spray being kicked up off these cars.
It's not many, but there is spray, so...
There is spray, but... It's a weird one. Bunty, I don't think is going to latch onto the back of the safety car. Actually, just as soon as I say that, he does. Safety car is in this lap. Now, Rooty the virtual Bert Barlander, he's now the virtual safety car. Kazizel there in second. Rooty, though, will be holding upon hopes that he can get these inters online. I'm unsure, though, looking at the track. It doesn't look as spray as what you would think for a set of intermediate compounded tyres. As now Rooty says goal to really clean restart as well by everyone. Rooty still leads the way, and Baraka's caught Jensen napping possibly in towards turn number 1, the Spaniard on the back of the Brit. The Brit actually on the back of Kazizel as well, who lunges it down the inside line. The spray is definitely kicking up though. They slide out of turn number 1, and Med-TC is just about ahead of Montana. Montana though is going to try and come on the outside line in towards turn number 2. Oh, and he tries to go all the way around the outside, and he goes into the back of Baraka, and he has to fend off the position for Med-TC while doing that, and Med-TC's back through, but Montana now running up the hill in towards turn number 4. He's not going to go this for third way around the outside of turn 4. Lovely move, Montana down the inside of turn 5 as well goes Harman.
Turn 5.
Harman and Med-TC. There's contact. There's contact. Harman should have went for that. Shouldn't have went for that, I think. Down the inside, and he's going backwards. No front wing on the car.
Yeah, I think he will retire this in the pit lane.
Yeah, has to. It's another unfortunate collision, but it's collisions that could have well been avoided, and it should have been avoided, I think, there from Harman. Dived it to the inside line. I think it was of Davydenko, if I'm not mistaken, and he forced that move. Oh no, it was of Med-TC even. It was of Med-TC. He forced the inside line, and the gap wasn't there. So Harman, I think, with a bit of hindsight, he'll look back on that and think, yeah, I shouldn't have gone for that move, simply.
Is Rooty a bird or something? He's flying again now. 1 second away because he's so...
Yona, around the outside of the final corner, Davydenko. He's going to come now side by side with the Spaniard, down in towards turn number 1. The Dutchman against the Spaniard, down in towards turn 1. The FRL man against the QRT man. Yona tries to go all the way around the outside because he's got the traction. Surely he's got the move as well, and he does. And he's through and he's into P8. Med-TC fighting on the back of Ryan. Ryan defends. Med-TC defends, I should say. Ryan doesn't get the position, and Med-TC holds on for 6th. Rooty, though, as you said, the bird has flown. A second clear of Kazizel. Kazizel, though, is an intermediate compounded tyre specialist. He will not lie this down, and Rooty probably won't get away from him because Kazizel is that quick on a set of inters.
I'm a bit too wet. I don't know why, but rain is not getting heavy or something.
It won't.
Yeah. I think if he pitted to inters, he couldn't do anything. Yeah, maybe with a safety car, but I don't see that quickly coming now.
Well, he can't go for fastest lap either because fastest lap's now completely at the question, unless it stops raining And I think you've got more of a chance of it stopping raining than it actually goes to full wet, judging by the conditions above in the sky. Ruti leading the way. Kazisl second, Jensen third, Barack Montana fourth and fifth. Really quick race, by the way. It's 8:05 here in the UK, and I feel like we've been commentating for about an hour now, and we have been commentating an hour now, and we're nearly done this race. Ruti leads the way, Kazisl second, Jensen and third. One thing that we haven't actually looked at is the penalties tonight. Metzisi's on 6, Ryan on 3, Yona hasn't got any, he's on the back of Ryan. Remco, Macho, Bunty have all got 3, and Harmon has got 6, and he's at the back of the field. He's on that full set of wet compound tyres. And to be honest, he's losing a lot of time on those tyres as well.
Penalties are important now. Metzisi will drop far behind from the position where he is now. Maybe outside of the points even.
Yeah, I mean, Physical's about 3 seconds off him, and Metzisi's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, so I wouldn't even rule out Teal for point C. It's not either. Down in 14th. Depending for those fresh set of inters, that call might have been actually a really good spot, because he's on that set of inters. He's off the back of Bunty at the minute, but he's doing well and he's in that train.
Kazisl also closing in on Ruti. Harmon goes again into the pit lane. He gets 5-second penalty and he retires.
Disappointing. It makes you wonder though why he actually came in for the full wet in the first place, even though he could have just retired in the pit lane first time around. Anyways, Branwe Mansan, by the way, said, "Hoi Jesse," in the comments.
Hoi.
On lap 29, Hoi as well. Ruti leads the way, Kazisl in second, Jensen in third, and Ruti doesn't look like he's got the straight line speed there. Kazisl's on the back of him, and he's waiting, I think, to possibly go for the move. He's got 70% of ERS. Ruti's got around the same. Jensen has got slightly less. Kazisl is on the back of Ruti. And I've got to be honest, he's looking a lot quicker than Ruti. It's just a case of, not if, but when is he going to go for the move?
That's just a question now. No DRS or something. And they have almost the same ERS. They have the same.
Yeah, about 80% of ERS they both have. Jensen now in third, Barack in fourth, Montana in fifth. Montana possibly getting a sense of deja vu in front of him, with the Spaniard obviously in fourth. Montana there in fifth. And with floor damage, I've got to say, if he's got very light floor damage, Montana, he's doing an awesome job, I think, with floor damage there in fifth. Doing a really good job. Falcon, by the way, saying, "Jesse, what did you think of Lou's crash?"
I think he could have been on the podium if he didn't crash. So, stupid.
Mistakes don't go unpunished around this track, and Lou found out the hard way, and I think that's probably the best way we can describe his collision, obviously. Zapor, by the way, saying he's going for Kazisl for the win. He knows me too well, I think, Zapor, in the comment section. Yeah, I would go Kazisl at this point as well. If I was Kazisl, he didn't look like he had the pace last lap around, though. Ruti upped the pace slightly. Kazisl kept with him, but it's now a fact of Kazisl has got to apply this pace now to Ruti, and has got to apply that in a really good effect to try and get that move done. And speaking of moves done, by the way, Yona and Ryan are going side by side up the hill and towards turn number 4, and Yona's on the outside line in towards turn number 4, tries to go all the way around the outside, and Ryan, to be fair, really good defensive driving. Yona, though, down the inside of turn 5, she'll get the move done, nearly forces Ryan out wide, but it's a lovely move by Yona. That is what you call racing around a Hungary. Yona and Ryan, absolute epitome of good battling there. Yona threw these into 7, Ryan and 8. They didn't give each other an inch. That's racing.
Falcon is supporting Barack at this moment. He's in Lou with party, so I think he's a Haas supporter.
I'm not surprised. He's in P4, but stewards might have a look.
Picking up another penalty.
Yeah, 9 seconds for him now. Just to finish up that point, what I was going to say as well, Barack, as the rain has got a lot heavier now, actually, coming on towards the final couple of laps of the race. The rain is a lot heavier now compared to last lap around. Ruti leading the way, Kazisl in second, but Barack, what I was going to say there is, stewards might have a look into his instant with Montana coming through turn number 1 and 2 on lap 1. So they might have a look into that, and there might be a penalty coming his way, but we don't know.
Yeah, and with the incident with Matty in the qualifying. So maybe he will drop down very far of where he is now.
Ryan and Remco going side by side, coming out of turn number 3. Nice job by Ryan, actually. Got that move done, even with Remco's driving there. Ryan did a good job to get that move done. He's into 8th, Remco there in 9th, and Remco's right on the back of him. To be fair, this has probably been one of Remco's best races outside of Baku. He's driven very well, he's been in the correct positions at the right time, and Remco's done a really good job. But Kazizel leading on the back of Ruti, obviously. Ruti's still leading the way. Championship picture currently in favour of Ruti, outscoring Jensen, and Ruti, if it stays as it is, with 4 laps to go, he is going to hold that championship lead and extend it.
Yeah, that's right. Montana also losing some points now on Jensen. As Remco picked up another penalty. He's now 6 seconds. So Remco not going to get points.
Yeah, not going to get points indeed. Remco now in 9th. Penalties, by the way, are as follows. MTC 9, Ryan on 3, Remco on 6, Macho on 6, and Bunty on 3. Those are the only drivers, actually, surprisingly, that have picked up a penalty. MTC nearly goes sideways out of turn number 1. Yona could have potentially got the move done there. He wasn't even close enough, though.
It is turning into full wet, but they don't gonna pit for full wet. There's some standing water now. If you look good down in towards turn 4 now.
Yeah, I mean, even running on board with Kazizel as who picked up a penalty there? Somebody did. Was it Ryan that picked up a penalty? Somebody
Bunty.
picked up a penalty there.
It was Bunty.
Bunty. I knew it was somebody. I knew I saw a penalty there. I didn't know who it was for, though. Bunty, 6 seconds worth of penalties now for him. But Ruti leading the way still. Kazizel, can he try and find a bit of pace now with standing water just off the track, coming through turn number 12. Kazizel, though, on the back of him. Jensen, Barak, probably looking the closest battle, actually, out of the front 5. Montana struggling to keep up in terms of floor damage. He's still within that train, though, and he's still got a chance if everything kicks off, though, which it might just do, because Barak is on the back of Jensen, running down in towards turn number 1. Is he going to try and look for a send in towards turn 1? Yona gets the move done on MTC at the final corner. Barak has a half think. He's going to be stopped.
Let the door open.
Nah, Jensen's going to be third down in towards turn 2.
It's now going to kick off, I think.
It will. Ruti leading the way, because this is 11 second, Jensen there in 3rd, Barak in 4th, Montana there in 5th, Ryan's on the back of MTC as well, he obviously got caught up in a little bit of that contact coming out the final quarter, and Ryan now on the back of the Finn. Oh, as the Scotsman nearly goes flying coming through turn number 3, nearly sent the car sideways, nearly went in the wall. Good recovery by Ryan, just about kept that car going in a straight line. He still stays in 8th, as you were saying it's going to all kick off. It's between Ruti and Jensen, it seems now.
Kazizel's really close now, also on the back of Ruti.
Yeah, Ruti Kazizel, sorry, not Ruti and Jensen. Goodness me, I'm losing my mind.
Rain's getting heavier and heavier now, we see. Going to lap 34, almost the end of the race. An interesting race with some good battles. And
we've only had one safety car this race as well.
Only one.
Which is unbelievable. Can though Kazizel find a bit of pace now on the back of Ruti at the final corner? Everyone I'm sure at home is probably willing him on. I'm just going to keep on board with Kazizel for the final 2 laps. Because this looks on. But he has to try and think about where to go for that move. Not in towards turn 1. Jensen, by the way, locks up in towards turn 1. Nearly got overtaken by Barak there. Lucky boy, Jensen, actually. He stays in P3. Barak in 4th. Montana there in 5th. But Kazizel, again, all over the back. He's trying to take his wet lines. He does karting, by the way, in real life, Kazizel. So he knows his lines. Can he find those karting lines, though? That'll take him to the race win here.
We will see it in a couple of laps, in 1 lap time.
It's fascinating, this battle. Absolutely fascinating. Montana on the back of Barak as well. Not looking too bad. 4th and 5th position at this moment in time, because Kazizel now needs to find where Ruti's weak spot is, I think, out on track. Through the middle sector, we saw him make a mistake through this part of the section out on track. And that time, Ruzi was flawless coming through there, and Kazizel cannot chase him down. And it looks to me as if the race continues on with only 4.3 kilometres of this track left as we go into the final lap of the race. Kazizel has to find something special now to win this.
Yeah, I think the only overtaking spots for him now is turn 1 and 2. And maybe turn 3, but yeah, he needs to push all. Same for Ruti, will do that. But yeah, will he be close for the late lunch? Nowhere
near. 5/10 away. If he's going down the inside here, Daniel Ricciardo will probably come in my mailbox tomorrow morning. Ruti leads the way, Kazizel there in second, final lap of the race here, Jensen there in third, Barak in fourth, Montana in fifth. I think everything is holding, to be honest, in terms of the positions. Remco on the back of Ryan was looking quite close, not quite close enough in towards turn 1 though goes Remco, taps the back of the Scotsman's rear end, the Aston Martin, and now Remco slow to get the ERS on. Is he going to try and lunge it down the inside line? You bet he will. Remco down the inside line on Ryan, in towards turn number 2, on the exit at 3, I think Ryan is probably going to have the traction, and he forces Remco out wide. Remco forced out wide completely. Nearly did a Guido van der Gaard coming through there, and now Ryan and Remco side by side in turn 4, and that's just silly. That is just silly from Remco. No way you were going to get that move done. Remco now right down the back of the field, and frankly, if he pulls off a move like that, then I'm probably going to be a rich man, because that was never, ever, ever going to happen.
We saw sometimes that some moves were completed in turn 4, but this one I was 100% sure when I saw it, will complete and they make contact as result.
Ruti now though coming through the final couple of quarters, and it seems like Ruti has absolutely excelled, I've got to say, out on track. I wouldn't say it's a dominant win, he's had to work for it. Ruti around the final corner wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Kazizel there in second, Jensen in third, Barak in fourth, Montana in fifth, the front 5 steady as they are. Yona there is going to come across the line in sixth. He drove well, actually, Yona on a recovery drive. Metisi and Ryan are going to be 7th and 8th. Which positions, though, we'll see. Metisi crashes to the line, and it's Ryan. Davidenko, sorry, 7th. Oh, his Macho was retired, actually, before coming into the pit. He came in the pits and retired the car, and he hasn't finished.
Championship gap is now 12 points.
Wow. Davidenko gets awarded Driver of the Day by the in-game fans. But to the top step of the podium, as you alluded to it, Ruti extends his championship lead. In the end, to be honest, you've got to say it was dominant first half of the race. When that safety car came out, it was a bit unsure. Then the rain came. Kazizel looked on the back initially on the back of Ruti, but Ruti handled the pressure really well. I think he only made one mistake in the final couple of laps. Kazizel couldn't keep with the pace, and Ruti takes a race win in here in Hungary and extends his championship lead.
Yeah, it was a really fun race to commentate on. Some good battles, more than I expected. And of course that the restraints when it was dry. Interesting race with this rain.
Interesting race indeed, but Ruti, actually, he doesn't take the fastest lap, but he does get pole position and the win. So Ruti takes 2 out of the golden 3 in Formula 1 on a race weekend. Ruti takes the win. Kazizel there in second. I don't think Kazizel could have done any more than he could have actually out on track there in second. Jensen in third, Barak in fourth, Montana in fifth. Yona picked up fastest lap of the race there in sixth, quite comprehensively as well. He picked up fastest lap of the race. Davidenko in seventh, Physico in eighth, gets points. Ryan there in ninth. T-Hawk, I did say you get points, down in 10th. Absolutely outscores everyone in terms of the penalties with Metisi, Bunty, Remco and Macho, who could potentially have finished in 10th or 11th. He finishes right down, or retired in pit lane. He won't even get classified in the results because he retired before the line. Harman, Henry, Lou and Tom, 4 DNFs out of this race. Only the one safety car. And that is the Hungarian Grand Prix over and done with.
Next week we go to France.
Oh.
Also track where some rain can come.
Yeah, rain can come there, as I saw with Yona and TTM LF2, where he was on pole. I think it was for the feature race. We did a sprint and feature race around there. Yona was on pole that day, ended up 2 laps down from the rest of the field. Don't ask me how he did that, but yeah. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him.
I think we should join now the F1 party, the interview party.
I will invite them here, actually. I'll invite them into our party here. That's what I normally do every week. So we'll get the top 3 in. And you just go on blue. I'll go blue screen for a second so they can't hear your lovely voice, Jesse. So you can just hear my northern tones talking through. Remind me of the top 3 again. It was Rooty. Rooty, Jensen, and Kazilla. I know we'll probably get 2 of the 3 in. I'm not sure about Rooty, though. In terms of him, I don't think we've had an interview with him all season, actually. Have we had with Rooty? We'll get Jensen in and we'll get Kazizzle in as well. It'll literally take me about another 20 seconds to do, obviously, but really good racing out on track. To be honest, one of the better races I think I've commentated on around Hungary, and normally delivers. Did deliver on this occasion with changeable conditions as well. Really good action though out on track. We'll get the top 3 into our party now, as I thought my PS4 froze there for a second. Back though to the screen so they can now hear your lovely voice. That was a really good race though, Jesse. Did you enjoy commentating on it?
I enjoyed it. It was better than expected.
Better than expected. It's only because I'm here. That's why it was better than expected.
No.
I don't know. I just make up jokes as I go along, I think, here. But hopefully we can speak to at least 2 of the top 3. Jensen and Kazizzle are both in to the party. We'll see if Rooty is going to join. I'm not sure if he will, though. I don't think he's joined, actually, throughout the season when he has got a podium before. So Rooty, obviously, might not join. We'll give him a minute or so. But, Jesse, I'll come over to you, obviously. France next week, what can the drivers expect around there?
Rain.
And is that it?
I hope it's gonna be a fun race in France. It was a fun race this week, so.
But I'll tell you something. I don't think we want to have a glitch like what we had in, I think it was December, if I'm not mistaken, when we did France last season, and we had to reschedule it, obviously. And it got rescheduled, and there were so many glitches in that lobby. It was just the case of the new patch and everything coming out. But hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't get, obviously, that prospect next week in any of the tiers, of course, here in FRL. But we will move on, of course, to the interviews now, and we will interview our man who finished in P2, and it was Kazizzle. And Kazizzle, on the first couple of laps, though, I've got to say, in that second stint, I was absolutely convinced you had the pace over Rooty, and then it just sort of ebbed away, to be honest, and Rooty had more pace than you towards the end of the race. Talk us through it, though, because you still finished second.
Is this the mediums or the inters?
The inters.
Inters, to be honest, I actually thought I had quite a big pace advantage over him, but without DRS, it's literally impossible to overtake. So I'd get within about 4 attempts of him, and then Dirty Air would just completely slide me off track, which was really frustrating because I knew I had the pace to, you know, give him a run for his money in that sort of sense. But you know what, with I started P5, and you know, with the disconnect in quali, I feel like P2 is a really good like recovery. Yeah,
that disconnection obviously happened. Probably the game just quit on you, I'm assuming as well.
My PS5 overheated and then turned off.
The absolute joys.
Yeah.
Absolute joys, but still you finished in P2, back after a couple of weeks layoff as well. Must be good to get back with a podium.
Yeah, 100%. You know, a lot of esports and sports in general is a lot about confidence, and when you do get these results, which, you know, a win would have been nice here, but you know, a podium's always great in FRL, so you know, it's just always great to come back with a little bit of a bang.
Yeah, coming back with a bang. Obviously, where were you in terms of the championship? I think you were like 9th or something coming into tonight, so obviously a good points haul for you in the AlphaTauri. Expectations going through the rest of the season, are they high now after that podium?
You know what? I've taken this sort of couple last months of this game cycle as, you know, I just want to have fun, because I feel like in the beginning of the game I took it quite seriously and I started to lose the enjoyment from it. So now I'm not setting goals for myself. I'm literally, if I had fun that race, it's good, and I enjoyed this one, and I hope to enjoy the rest of the races coming up.
I think you're like 90% of the league racing community, I think, at that point, to be honest. Because it always gets to the end of the game cycle and people always lose interest in the leagues and everything like that. Jesse, if you are still here, any questions?
Yeah, France coming up next week. What do you think about the track? Are you good on it? Or...
France. I feel like it's a mixed bag for me. I've always struggled at France, to be honest. Just I've never been. It's one of those tracks that no matter how much practice I put in, I just tend to be a few tenths off the pace, especially in quali. I think it's to do with like the fronts overheating, and I'm normally quite bad with circuits when there is front heating issues. So maybe I could do some setup work and maybe tweak that. But we'll just have to see how it goes next week.
And I think that's it from Jesse in terms of his questions. So all I have to say is go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you guys. Thank you for commentating and have a good night.
Very welcome indeed, and hope you do too as well. And we'll now move on to the man who finished in P3. It was Jensen, and Jensen, frustrating because you're in that DRS train first and foremost, and in that train towards the end of the race. But P3 for you, out on track, must be quite happy given how the opening laps of the race went.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Didn't expect myself to get a podium tonight, so yeah, pretty hyped about that. But yeah, I wish I went for the ult strat because of course Lou had that lead come to the rain, but I don't know what happened to him. But unfortunate for him there because he was running a good race. But yeah, in the end I went for the soft medium, and fortunate enough my teammate managed to let me through the train, and when we got through, all the guys behind seemed to get caught up, so I managed to pull away, and then the safety car came out of course for I think Henry, and that was basically time to go to the inters. And then yeah, the last stint of the race was just trying to get to the end, trying to keep Barack behind me. He got the run on the restart, which I just managed to cover him off. I think Kaziza took the inside line, which allowed me to get the drive on the exit and best him going into turn 2 or 3 I think. But yeah, I mean P3 is probably the best I'll probably expect out of that. If it was more, it'd be even more luckier, but yeah.
Yeah, P3 though, still a really good result. Judging by the rain, obviously, that came around, lap 24, 25, there was always that threat of rain. Were you trying to extend your stint out a little bit further just so they can go that extra mile before the inters came out? And obviously, fortunate with the safety car at the same time as well.
I was hoping that the rain would come later, but I saw it was going to go heavy rain quite quickly. So it was hard. I thought the soft to medium would catch up to the medium guys, but seeing Lou managed to keep the gap quite far in front. But I think in the end, of course, Ruti won. Deserved it after the medium stint that he put on. Managed to get away. Of course, I think Kazuzo definitely was in a shout of deserving it in the rain, but in the end,
yeah, still P3, obviously, still a very strong result. Obviously, Ruti outscored you in terms of the championship as well. So, I think, Jesse, you said he was 12 points behind, I think?
12 points it is now. Ruti gained, 10 points now, so...
Obviously, it's less than a race wins advantage there as well, Jensen. So, expectations going into the next couple of rounds of the championship, are they high? Do you want to try and beat Ruti for that third championship?
We'll of course keep on trying. I think Hungary is one of those assist tracks, fortunately, so I think going to France, where I think it's not really much of an assist track, France, I wouldn't say anyway, or the next lot aren't, so that'll be fortunate for me. I'm just going to have to try and make my way back up, but yeah, it's going to be a long hard fight. And Montana's still in there as well, so how many more times he gets to race, he'll probably keep with us. But yeah, Ruti's my main focus this season, so I'm going to try and best him whenever I can.
Yeah, try and best him as well as you can, obviously, with the points disadvantage at the minute. Jesse, any questions?
Yeah, France upcoming next week. I also questioned this to Kazizo, but are you good on the track? Do you like the track, and do you think you can maybe get your championship lead back?
depends where Ruti finishes. If he gets a strong result, then of course pretty close. But I think I was not the fastest around France last season, because I think I didn't get the setup right at all for that. At least losing 3 attempts down the straights. But I think for now, France, I think I've found my rhythm around there. So hopefully get a decent result.
Really interesting indeed. Just saying Montana's video, by the way, that's just been uploaded. Overtaking an esports driver, which I think probably most of the grid's done this season in FRL F1. Not to be fair to you, MedTC, not to be disfair to you at all. But, Jensen, go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, and cheers for coming through as always.
You are very welcome indeed, and we'll now... obviously, Ruti is not here, so I think that is the interviews all over and done with tonight. Big thank you to Kazizzle, and a big thank you to Jensen, of course, for joining me and Jesse in the commentary box for the interviews tonight. And that rounds us off very nicely, I've got to say, for tonight's action. More action to come, of course, next week for FRL F3 and F4. You can catch Jesse, of course, in action on FRL F3, 7 PM UK time, of course, along with F4 also at the same time. And then F1 and F2 also at 7 PM UK time. That is, of course, on Tuesday, 1 on Twitch, 1 on YouTube as well. So that is going to cover pretty much every single angle that we've got. Of course, here on Twitch, if you haven't already followed, please do so. When we get up to 50 followers, of course, we do become an affiliate channel. So that means we actually make a little bit of revenue and a little bit of money which can be invested into the league, of course, and hopefully you can support us as we go along throughout the season as well. Jesse, absolute privilege, of course, commentating alongside you tonight. Hopefully Oliver back from his illness next week, and hopefully we wish him all well, I'm sure, in terms of his recovery and in terms of hopefully he's back to his full 100% voice next week. Jesse, though, I will leave the final words up to you. Driver of the day.
I think Ruti for his quite a dominant win.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, I think definitely Ruti, dominant win. It was hard fought, to be honest, though. I'd still say it's a dominant win from Ruti, so he will get our Driver of the Day vote as well, and we'll put that, of course, in the poll as a result. Unless Parrot is listening, we've already done it for you. You can put Ruti in for the Driver of the Day. I just tossed my train of thought there. But anyways, FRL is done. If you are not watching this, by the way, on YouTube, or if you are watching this on YouTube later, you probably would have already seen that the video will be uploaded. If you are watching Twitch live stream, though, it will be getting uploaded on YouTube later on, either this evening or possibly tomorrow afternoon. I will put it up there for everyone. But that is it from us. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you are going to be staying safe in this crazy world that we all live in as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.